For someone who is quite involved in the roguelike genre, I had never played Hades. I had played the biggest games of the genre, experienced and playtested upcoming games, and fell in love with two games that I've raved about for about a collective 40 plus minutes on this channel. But I never got around to playing Hades. In fact, I had played the other games from the developer Supergiant. I loved Transistor and Pyre and even got to meet some of the developers at MomoCon in 2019. I love these guys. Hades had swiftly become one of the most widely loved games in the genre and even was nominated for Game of the Year in 2020. Being one of the most popular games of the genre, being developed by one of my favorite developers, and even having received several awards and nominations of great esteem, you'd think I'd play it. Nah. I genuinely have no excuse as to why it took me so long to finally play this game. The only reason I even did wind up getting and playing it was because of a recent sale that dropped the price pretty significantly, which now removed literally every barrier possible to me playing it. So I got the game, and started playing with very few expectations, mostly because I'd pretty much seen everything the game had to offer, from online content and just watching friends play, but aside from that, I'm glad I finally gave it a chance. I'm not going to go in depth with the game as I'm still playing it, and I won't be covering specifics when it comes to the story. I honestly just wanted to gush about the game, so this video is probably going to be a short one, as we'll talk about what I liked and even a little of what I didn't like. Think of this video as almost just a review of my first impressions of the game, so I won't be going into massive detail about everything. So, let's go ahead and jump in. For those who are unaware, the basis of the game has you playing as Zagreus, son of Hades, as he attempts to escape the underworld to find his mother. The game even opens up with Zagreus during his first escape attempt, which at this point is also the player's first attempt, so it's all a learning experience for the player and Zagreus. In theory, if you're good enough, you could actually beat the entire game on this first run, which of course for me, that was not a possibility. Meg, the first boss, pushed my shit in. You see this? One thing I was quick to realize upon my first playthrough was that this game was much harder than I thought. Whenever I'd watch my friends play or see videos, I never thought it looked easy, but I definitely didn't think it was that hard. So, clearly I was in for a rude awakening. I did pretty quickly get a hang of the controls though, but the game sure as hell didn't let up on me. Run after run, death after death, I found myself returning back over and over again, getting further and further along in the game, and it felt rewarding. Finding new boons and combos, unlocking new weapons and keepsakes, stat upgrades, and even upgrades to the hub area. There always felt like there was something going on, something to unlock or discover, and someone to talk to in the hub after every run. Speaking of people to talk to, I adore the voice acting in this game. Every voice actor performs amazingly, as I always look forward to the next piece of new dialogue from each boon or whatever piece of advice that Skelly wants to give me after each failed run.
You know something, boyo? I think you could do a real number on one of these columns, holding up this place and bring the whole thing down in just a few swipes.
This skeleton has more character and charm than the average League player. Oops, did I say that out loud? Jokes aside, every piece of dialogue is written well and delivered beautifully, making these characters feel lively. Gods, when delivering boons, have different pieces of dialogue in response to the weapons you're carrying, other boons you currently have, the places where you get them, and even the condition you're in. I talked about how this can be a nice touch in one of my other roguelike videos, as Have a Nice Death takes a similar approach to this, with bosses having multiple dialogue options whenever you attempt them. This wide variety of dialogue from each of the characters makes each interaction so unique and truly does add to that feeling of freshness one has when attempting another run, as well as just simply making each of these characters feel more alive as they essentially respond to the actions and choices you are making as a player. Hell, in rooms where you make a choice between boons, a god can get angry at you and make that room more difficult than it previously was if you choose one over them. Ares literally said, "Fuck you, I took that personally," and started bombarding the room just because I took the other boon. He literally had a fit because he wasn't chosen to play. Some bosses even have different variants that pop up from time to time, providing not just more dialogue, but essentially a whole different boss fight. And aside from the game's stellar voice acting, the game's music is top notch, something that's honestly to be expected from Supergiant at this point, but it doesn't change the fact that Darren Korb has, once again, successfully created another stellar soundtrack. How does he do it? He's done this 5 times already, and he's probably getting ready to do it again. He also voices Skelly, which means this man can do anything.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, you tell him, Skelly! And the game's visuals are also stellar. Each location is beautifully designed, and each background has me feeling as if I'm playing directly on a canvas as I pummel and slash through countless enemies. And with that in mind, let's talk about the one-to-one gameplay real quick. You'll be going from room to room, clearing enemies, grabbing boons to modify your attacks, getting upgrades to your attacks, as well as pomegranates to upgrade said boons. There's also a decent variety of boons, each of which is tied directly to one of 9 different gods, plus chaos, so 10 groups of boons in total. Aside from the variety of boons though, there's a nice selection of weapons that greatly change your moveset. My favorites so far are easily the classic Stygian Blade and the later unlockable Twin Fist of Malphon. I tried the others and didn't quite like the feel of them, but I'm sure with some time I could honestly grow to like the Shield of Chaos or even the Eternal Spear. I am aware that they do get alternate forms, but I personally have yet to unlock any of them just yet. With that though, I do like the main gameplay of the game, which is of course your attempts to reach the surface. Combat is fast and challenging, and I can genuinely see myself getting better and better each time I attempt a new run, which for a roguelike is pretty important. Honestly, don't have too many issues with the game. I do wish there was a wider variety of common enemy types, but with what's there, they all feel as though they have a place amidst the goons trying to stop me from reaching the surface. I have seen discussions online about Hades not being a good roguelike, but I don't think I'm in a place to weigh in on this topic or discussion just yet. I really haven't gotten that far into the game, as I'm still unlocking upgrades, I'm still seeing new things, and have only gotten as far as the 4th stage, the Temple of Styx, where I died to poison. So, I plan to revisit that topic in the future, where I also analyze the entire roguelike genre as a whole. If you want to make sure you're notified when that video happens, consider subscribing and ringing the bell to help support the channel. I know this video was short, but I wanted to keep it sweet. I'm glad to have finally taken the time to play Hades, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what Supergiant cooks up for the game's sequel. And I'll make sure to not take literal years to give it a playthrough. As usual, my name is CrossVee, and I hope to see you all next time. Love y'all. Peace.